Now on the CTV News at 5, the union representing Alberta's 51,000 teachers says they're planning to walk off the job October 6th. Plus, concerns Alberta's new Fairness and Safety in Sport Act will force more girls out of sports. And a new lease on life for several birds being rehabilitated at the Alberta Birds of Prey Centre.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Alberta teachers have issued a strike notice, but they won't walk out until October the 6th. After voting in favor of a strike in June, teachers had until October the 7th to hit the picket lines. So the 6th, Schilling says, gives families the longest opportunity to plan ahead. Negotiations on a new collective agreement between the ATA and the province resumed in August, but they stalled last week. Teachers have asked for wage increases and more support for growing class sizes and complexities. The province has offered a wage increase of 12% over 4 years and promised to hire 3,000 teachers over the next 3 years. If the strike happens, this will impact over 825,000 students across Alberta.
Teachers have taken bargaining seriously, and as bargaining drags on, they continue to show up every day for students in good faith. But they are tired. Tired of being disrespected and vilified by the government, tired of distractions that downplay the real issues, and tired of being asked to do more with less. Teachers' patience has run out.
Look, I'm just as disappointed as everyone. I hope that we've got the ability to get back to the bargaining table, come to an agreement together so that we can avoid strike action.
While October the 6th is the strike date for teachers, the province has approval to initiate a lockout of teachers before then. There is no word yet on when negotiations will start. CTV reached out to the Lethbridge school boards for comment, but did not hear back in time for broadcast. Frontline healthcare workers have rejected a tentative agreement with the province. 78% of members of the Health Sciences Association of Alberta voted, with nearly 60% rejecting the offer. HSAA represents more than 22,000 employees, including paramedics, pharmacists, and diagnostic imaging specialists. The union says it's not calling for a strike vote, but is urging the province and Alberta Health Services to make a better wage offer. The province says it's ready to return to the bargaining table. Danielle Smith is bringing her Alberta Next panel to Lethbridge tomorrow night. The panel is gathering insight on Alberta's relationship with Ottawa. There has been mixed reaction at previous town halls. In Lloydminster, people cheered for mass deportations and for separation, while in Edmonton, the panel faced criticism and protesters. Town halls have yet to be held in Airdrie, Grand Prairie, and Calgary. In order to attend, you must pre-register on the government website. A new poll from Angus Reid shows Danielle Smith is the most polarizing premier in the country. 24% of respondents strongly approve of her performance, which is the most in the country, but 40% strongly disapprove of Smith, which is the second highest behind Quebec's premier. The online survey was done between August 28th and September the 5th. Over 4,000 Canadian adults who are members of the Angus Reid Forum took part. Turning over to Danielle Savoni now to talk about the forecast, and there is more sun on the way. Danielle.
There is, yes. Tomorrow will be a brighter, more stable day, but right now we're dealing with this. This has been a system pushing through. It developed stateside, and the spin has been right over the far south for much of the morning and early afternoon hours, but it is starting to shift on out now. But it's unstable behind it, so there's still the chance of showers, isolated thunderstorms, even as we go through these next few hours. 19 degrees is the current temperature, so things are a bit cooler today in comparison to yesterday, as we talked about. When we look at temperatures overall, 25 right now in Medicine Hat, again a bit of a difference from that 30 yesterday. 20 in Brooks, 25 in Drumheller, 19 in Milk River. Your full forecast is just ahead, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Lethbridge police were on scene of a high-risk incident this afternoon. Police surrounding a home along the 100 block of Sundial Court West in the Sunridge subdivision. Police on scene say they were executing a search warrant and someone had barricaded themselves inside. The public was asked to stay away from the area at the time. No other details have been released. Lethbridge police are asking for help to identify 2 people in connection with a theft. Police say on September the 3rd, an unknown man and woman entered Wine and Beyond along the 3100 block of Fairway Street South, and they allegedly stole liquor. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. And city police are looking for help identifying this woman. Investigators say on August 31st, she entered the Northside Canadian Tire and allegedly stole a tent. Again, anyone who may recognize the woman is asked to contact police. McCain's has won the right to appeal a ruling denying the potato processor the ability to power its Coaldale plant with wind and solar energy. In June, the Alberta Utilities Commission rejected McCain's application to generate up to 40 megawatts of power for its $600 million expansion with 5 wind turbines and a solar array. Any excess power would then be supplied to the provincial power grid. But the AUC ruled all the energy would first need to go to the power grid because the project's location with the solar and wind power spread over a number of properties. The Alberta Court of Appeal granted McCain permission to appeal the decision, questioning the AUC's ruling that the project had to be contained on one property, not bisected by roads or highways. The Lethbridge Animal Shelter has paused intakes following taking in 20 animals from animal cruelty investigations, but advocates say this is only highlighting a growing problem. Of the 20 animals rescued, there are several dogs. 8 are still at the shelter and they can't be legally adopted or released yet. Because of this, the shelter can't accept any more canine surrenders at this time. Shelters across Alberta have seen a rise in pet surrenders or pet dumping in recent years. The Alberta SPCA notes dumping in particular has become a major issue. In a statement, the SPCA says seizures involving large numbers of animals is a growing problem in our province. That's why the Alberta SPCA, working with partners across the animal welfare community, has made a renewed commitment to understand and address the root causes of the animal welfare crisis, aiming to create long-term change to prevent cases from these happening in the first place. Well, a rally in support of Alberta's wild horses took place this afternoon at Calgary's McDougall Centre. The advocates are calling on the province to halt plans to remove some wild horses and give birth control to others. The province claims the wild horse population needs to be better managed because they are destroying a lot of land. A 2015 range health report found most damage was caused by things like clear-cut logging, off-road vehicles, and cattle. Advocates say reducing Alberta's wild horse population could lead to its demise.
To dart 90 mares with contraception that'll prevent birthing for 4 to 5 years is just totally unacceptable, because what'll happen when those babies aren't being born, the apex predators will then attack the ones that are alive, so you've actually doubled the loss.
The group plans to represent a petition to the legislature this fall to stop the contraception and removal of wild horses. It's already collected 15,000 signatures. Several hawks, a falcon, and owl all got a new lease on life today. Early this morning, staff with the Alberta Birds of Prey Centre released the birds back into the wild after they were rescued and rehabilitated. Carson Marsouk reports.
3, 2, 1.
These birds are taking flight after spending months in recovery.
The species that was most important to get on their way today are the Swainson's hawks. They leave the nest sometimes in July and August, and then by mid to late September, they're already heading on their way to Argentina.
5 of the birds were released Wednesday morning near Cottonwood Park on the city's west side. A Merlin falcon and a short-eared owl also took flight on a new life.
They nest in our farms and ranchers, and even right here in the city of Lethbridge, there's a lot of them nesting in people's backyards, especially out around 43rd Street on the north side. We've even found them nesting like in the London Road area.
The 7 birds released were all found in Lethbridge and taken to the Alberta Birds of Prey Foundation for rehabilitation.
They got some pretty big talons, and that, you know, it's a little concerning, but it wasn't too bad.
While the birds will migrate for the winter, Colin Weir says most will likely return back to the Lethbridge region in the spring.
We'd be up to our ears in mice and ground squirrels or gophers if it were not for the Swainson's hawks and redtails and ferruginous that we have here in southern Alberta. So tremendous environmental benefit and a very big benefit for the farmers and ranchers.
The Birds of Prey Foundation takes in injured birds throughout the year. Weir says since the beginning, he's been able to release thousands of birds back into the wild. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The Birds of Prey Centre is now closed for the season. The centre will be open for 2 special final weekends on September the 13th and September the 20th. Lethbridge Polytechnic is getting ready to host its annual Coulee Fest this weekend. The event began in 2017 as a way to celebrate the Polytechnic's 60th anniversary. A full day of entertainment is planned for festival goers of all ages. They'll have events and activities for the kids, a market, food trucks, and a beer garden, as well as live music. The free event is this Saturday and is open to students, faculty, alumni, and the wider community. The 45th annual Terry Fox Run is this coming Sunday, the 14th. The Canada-wide event celebrates the anniversary of the Marathon of Hope. In 1980, Terry Fox set out to run across Canada to raise money for cancer research. He completed more than 5,300 kilometers before the spread of his cancer forced him to stop near Thunder Bay.
It's really nice because at our school we had a run on every year, and I do a speech at the gym and stuff, and I talk about it every single year.
Leah is a living example that the cancer research is working, which is exactly what Uncle Terry wanted, right? That was his whole mission when he started the Marathon of Hope, was to fundraise for cancer research, and that's what we're still doing today.
The Terry Fox Run has raised more than $900 million for cancer research. In Lethbridge, registration at the Legacy Park Picnic Shelter will be open until 10 a.m. with the run starting at 11 on Sunday. All right, we're back after this break with the 5-day forecast. Plus, studies are being done examining the effects of alcohol and cannabis taken together on young brains.
All right, well, temperatures have cooled a little bit for today. I'm sure you notice a bit of that. 22 degrees was the high, and so far the current temperature in the city of Calgary, 25 in Edmonton, 28 in Regina, and 30 in Saskatoon. So it is still quite hot in Saskatchewan, for example, but for us, we've chilled a tiny bit, so we're not at that 30 mark. For example, Medicine Hat at this time yesterday was at 30 degrees, and Lethbridge was at 29 at this time yesterday. So was Brooks and Drumheller. So a decent cool down for us. It's still hot. It's still, for many cases, many communities, above normal, at least by a little bit. But we will get back into warmer temperatures as we go through these next few days for sure. I'll show you that in the longer range in just a second here. It's been an active morning. We've had this system stateside that's pushed in, and it's really pushed its way basically right up Highway 2 and in through Lethbridge, in through Medicine Hat. The bulk of it is now out, but there is instability behind it, especially along the foothills, which is tracking off to the east. So for anywhere in the far south, as we head through the rest of today, through the evening hours, especially the early evening hours, there's still the potential of any sort of shower or thunderstorm activity. But things are quiet for tomorrow. This system will be off in Saskatchewan tomorrow. And for us here in the far south of Alberta, well, we're just looking at this. Well, we may see a couple clouds here and there, but it's a quiet day. It will be mainly sunny, and because of that, we'll get some heat building in again. Also, air quality will be quite nice. The wind direction is acting in our favor. So smokier off to the north of Calgary. But as you can see, I'm going to play this through for the next couple of days, and you can see the smoke off to the north. You can see smoke on the other side of the Rockies, but it looks like we're going to be in the clear and be on that low end, that low risk part of that air quality health index. You can see the scale up here. So we should be between 1 and 3 as we go through these next couple of days. And because of less smoke, temperatures will also be able to climb a little bit because of that. So it will still be a little hazy as we head through tonight in the East Kootenay area, but you'll notice an improvement in that for tomorrow, except for the morning. The morning there may be fog patches, and you may have a little bit of that haze still trapped in for the early morning hours, and then that will start to mix on out. 26 degrees for a high for tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. Christmas Pass, we still have the potential for thunderstorm activity again right through the early evening hours. Still hazy, maybe still hazy in the early morning hours combined with some fog, and then that will start to mix its way out again in the morning hours, and then we're left with a really nice day and less smoke and a high of 23 degrees. Okay, Medicine Hat. Risk of thunderstorm activity even up until about midnight tonight. Hazy, and then hazy up until about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with fog patches possible and a high of 27 degrees tomorrow. And for the afternoon, just mainly sunny skies. A beautiful summery type day for tomorrow. And similar thing for Lethbridge, 25 degrees is the high though. All right, getting up to 25 for Friday as well, 26 for Saturday, and look at Sunday, 28 degrees.
Well, there have been plenty of studies examining the effects of alcohol and cannabis on young brains, but what about when the substances are taken together? As CTV's Pauline Chan reports, some new research is highlighting that very scenario.
Studies looking at alcohol use with marijuana have been done before, but mostly in the U.S. when cannabis was illegal. But the study by Jeffrey Wardell looks at Canada after marijuana was legalized.
We were going to do it in a legal environment to see, what did this look like? What does this look like now that young people can access it?
Recent figures show 50% of Canadians aged 19 to 25 use marijuana to some degree, and Wardell's study focused on the motivations behind using pot and alcohol, particularly together.
And we know that when you use two drugs together, they can have interactions. And so we were interested in understanding that.
In a new technique, the 150 participants used an app during 3 periods over the course of a year to accurately record when and how they used the two substances. They found that young people tended to use both substances during times of stress or negative emotions.
The reason they give is because it gives them a more intense high. They're trying to really avoid those emotions, and combining the two drugs produces more intense subjective effects.
But in doing that, Wardell says there was also a higher risk of other health dangers.
Greater risk for dependence or substance use disorder developing over time if you combine drugs, as well as other mental health outcomes. So being at greater risk for worsening depression, worsening anxiety.
Wardell has advice at a time when young people are beginning the college term or undergoing other stressful new situations.
Just be mindful that this isn't probably a good strategy, that even though maybe in the immediate term using cannabis and alcohol or combining the two especially might make you feel better.
He says employ good judgment in your substance use and seek other ways like exercise or talking to others to alleviate stress. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Alberta's measles cases are on the rise again. 10 new cases have been confirmed since yesterday. 4 are in the South Health Zone. The rest, they're in the North. Total measles cases since the outbreak started in March are now over 1,800. 2 people remain hospitalized. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, could new provincial rules force more girls out of sports altogether? That story next. Advocates say more needs to be done to keep girls in sports. They say the province's new requirements for female athletes could end up being another reason girls are more likely to drop out of sports than boys. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
Alberta's Education Minister says the province's Fairness and Safety in Sport Act will help keep athletes safe. It requires women and girls to confirm their sex at birth to ensure trans athletes are not competing in female divisions, both in schools and outside.
A lot of women and girls drop out of participating in competitive sports because of the physical nature that it can sometimes have as individuals get to more senior levels.
That wouldn't really necessarily be what the research supports.
Registered psychologist Katie Castle says by age 14, girls are twice as likely to quit sports as boys. She says there are many reasons why girls drop out as they hit adolescence, not the physical demand of the sport itself.
What changes is body image, self-confidence, their value on being with their peers. Those are the things that we know really change for girls, regardless of whether we're talking about girls' sports or boys' sports. Every sport gets more intense and harder on your body as you grow.
Castle says the biggest safety risk to young athletes is often the adults around them, not other athletes. Girls in Sport founder Dia Syed says building girls' confidence will keep them on the court.
We assume that they can't take on the challenge and get to where they need to be. And then, quite frankly, if somebody who's scared, and again, I speak for everybody, if we're scared at doing something and somebody gives you an out, you're probably going to go, yeah, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Syed says improving infrastructure can get girls and anyone around the financial, internal, and social barriers to sport.
How to approach them and how they feel safe on making mistakes. Because once you feel safe on making mistakes, it's like a world of opportunity.
The Ministry of Tourism and Sport says the province is committed to supporting girls and women through programs, grants, and partnerships, encouraging them to continue playing. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Two athletes from Central Alberta are world champions. Dorian Llewellyn and Ryan Dodd both won medals at the World Water Ski Championships in Italy. Llewellyn won men's overall and placed second in men's jumps. Dodd won bronze in men's jump. He is the longest serving member of Team Canada. Well, Jeopardy contestants could have used an assist when a clue came up about the NHL.
Canadian girlfriends for 600.
Leon Draisaitl stars for this northernmost NHL team, but went to warmer Spain to propose to Celeste Desjardins. Ian.
Who are the Winnipeg Jets?
No. Edmonton is further north. Ian.
Oilers superstar Leon Draisaitl has won the NHL's MVP award and has previously led the league in points and goals scored. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. After over 100 years of only bouncing baby boys, one Texas family is preparing to welcome a baby girl. Well, they say good things come to those who wait. And for one family, that wait lasted more than 100 years. David Muir explains.
In Montgomery County, Texas, one family saying enough with the boys. For the first time in 108 years, after generations of baby boys, the Sherman family is finally welcoming a baby girl. Meet Montgomery County firefighter Lieutenant Michael Sherman, his wife Jakia, and their 5-year-old son Makia. And this is the rest of the Sherman family. Look at this. For years now, every time a new baby is coming, they all gather, all wondering if this will be the one. Will there finally be a baby girl? And so this time, a cake with a question mark on top, blue or pink on the inside. And this was the moment they found out they're breaking a century-old streak.
What color is the cake?
That firefighter dad overjoyed.
We were the one that bringing a baby girl into the world finally after over 100 years. It's amazing.
Hugs from the family, so many Shermans happy. They loved the boys, but boy, were they ready for a girl.
I have 3 boys. My dad had 2 boys. His brother had 2 boys. So it's never been nothing but boys, boys, boys.
The last girl to carry the Sherman name was Ora Bell Sherman, Michael's great-great-aunt, born in 1917.
She dealt with the civil rights during the civil rights time. She was doing this. She met a lot of civil rights leaders, and she made an impact.
Fire station cheering, saying we can't wait to welcome this precious girl into the Montgomery Fire Department family. And words of advice, you will soon see how being a girl dad will be your most important job. Mom's cousin, Mercedes, telling us the baby is due in March.
She's already a history-making baby. We're so ready to rally around the baby and rally around Mike and Jakia.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.